Feed Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you. Yes.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
You could win one of 2 trips to see Banana Ball live. Purchase 2 Body Armor products, use Let's Go Rewards, and you're entered to win. Right now, Body Armor is buy one, get one for $1 with Let's Go Rewards. Start getting those entries in. Let's go.
Around here, toughness isn't talked about. It's lived.
Matt Wagner with the one-handed catch down.
Early mornings, late nights.
Dorian Bowen with 4.
Work that doesn't make the highlight reel.
Same mindset, different uniform.
This is the blue-collar grit, earned, not given.
Tough days don't stop us. They build us.
McMillan shoots and scores.
For the workers who don't back down, Ford doesn't either.
Shannon fires.
Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Well,
it's time for the Jacksons Postgame Show on Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a message on the Signature Roofing voice box at speakpipe.com/BNN. The BNN Postgame Show is presented by Jacksons, where you can get a 99-cent 16-ounce coffee or refill with Let's Go Rewards. Need snacks or a cold drink? Visit one of the 300 Jacksons locations today. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, rowpaint.com, and the Blue and Orange store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State Athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Now, let's go courtside to the Sun Cruiser Studios and join BJ Rains for the Jacksons Postgame Show on Bronco Nation News.
BJ roped old Prater ball game into the Jacksons Boise State Spring Game post-game show. We welcome you to the James Kitchen and Bar here on Broadway. A beautiful Boise day, and for everybody who saw the spring game, saw some good things. Congratulations. Good trip for you guys, many people are still on the blue right now, Prater, meeting, greeting, getting the autographs and whatnot. But here we are again at the James to wrap up a spring football season and a spring game. What's going on, Forrest? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, a little live football today on the blue. It's always good to see live football on the blue. Practice number 15, Spring Camp 2026 is officially over. Boise State's got it all wrapped up in the books. They're going to take about a month off. Report for summer conditioning on May 25th. That's the date straight from Maddox Madsen's mouth. We just left the game. We just left 3 press conferences. Ballgame. Let's talk about this for the next hour.
Yep, we got the stats here. The official stats, I guess, is the most official stats we'll have for the spring game. They handed them out to the media members following this, so we'll dive deep into that a little bit. But I just think the overall takeaway, maybe a microcosm of spring practice. I mean, it was physical. Tackling, the hitting, and it was competitive, and it was fun. And I think that all that kind of came to show itself. And, you get out what you put in. And I think they put a lot in to this spring ball, Prater, and I thought they got a lot out of it. Today, we saw big plays, key playmakers making some of those plays. I didn't think one unit particularly struggled. Maybe you could talk about some of the last 10 to 15 snaps for the offense weren't exactly easy peasy.
No.
But I think the most part, we can talk about what Maddox Madsen was able to do, what Max Cutforth was able to do, and just kind of the big names that have been in spring, the newcomers as well. So get your comments in there on the Jacksons Postgame Show here on BNN. Prater on the ball game style, and talking the spring game today too. But that, to me, kind of the takeaway I saw today, kind of what I've been seeing all spring, and probably deservedly so.
Yeah, that was going to be my takeaway. And there's, as we said, 15 spring practices. 13 of them were open to the media. I think you probably went to all 13 of them that were open. I missed a lot of Thursdays, so I was probably around 9 or 10. And I was going to say, we're not going to talk a lot about the details of spring game today, but it did, to me, resemble exactly what we saw for the last month when it came to spring camp. You saw an up and down Maddox Madsen today, and we did all spring camp. You saw guys like Rashawn Jones make big plays. You saw a lot of rotation on the offensive and defensive lines, and that's got to be very, very encouraging. You saw some playmakers in the back half of this defense making some plays. So those are all the things that we saw today. Those are all the things that we saw every single day at spring practice. So I think this team, if nothing else, is consistent. They found their identity. They found who they are. I think they got better in a couple of different places, but they still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, the quarterback play. I want to get to that, but first, I mean, the storyline of spring camp. Nobody can stop talking about him. You know where I'm going now. And, he had probably the most significant play of spring, or at least, sensational, highlight-worthy play, and that's the true freshman sensation. Rashawn Jones does it again on a pass from Maddox Madsen into the end zone, and he was covered. It was good coverage, and Maddox Madsen trusted that this teenager was going to come down with the ball, and it was Prater. It was Khalil Shakir-esque, man, one-handed, and that to me was the best play we saw today, and it's floating around the BNN social media waves too, so you guys can catch it if you weren't there. But it's almost like that's been the big story of camp. This kid just kicking the damn door down with not only might I play a little, I might be the best receiver in the room. I might be one of the focal points of this offense, and for him to have that catch and kind of cement it, put a stamp on it, like, yeah, I know everybody's talking me up. I'm going to put a show. And I thought Rashawn Jones starting there, I mean, I thought it was good for him to have that play and show that, look, to the fans who don't see him like we do in practice, that, Boise State got a good one there.
No, there's no doubt, and it was a beautiful play. And he makes that step right in front of him, and in front of Crutchfield, I think was the defensive back on that play, and he steps right in front of him and makes that beautiful play. And you're right, we've seen him do all that. But me, I'm not a big hype guy. And Spencer Danielson talked about him in the press conference, staying humble and hungry. It's Spencer Danielson's job to keep him humble and hungry, and we'll see how it certainly develops.
Yeah.
I like the development of the wide receiver room, and there's going to be a star that's going to emerge, a wide receiver one, and it's probably going to be Rashawn Jones, but there's going to be 4 or 5, maybe 6 dudes that are very, very comfortable. Maddox got him the ball, made a nice play. I like what you said because I didn't think about that in terms of just throwing it up and trusting him, because it was tight coverage, and Jones had to make a step in front to make a play, and he went and got the ball. Maddox Metzen didn't put it in the perfect spot, but he went and got the ball, and he did it in a very acrobatic style. But, I thought this offense started off, and I joked with Spencer in the press conference, sucking up to fans because all the creativity, all the trick plays, and then all of a sudden he comes out and says, "We're going to go trick plays. We're going to get crazy." And then we asked Mattis Metzen the same question in the same exact press conference. "Hey, have you been working on trick plays all camp?" He goes, "No, we've never worked on one." And today they just threw a couple out there just for the hell of it. So, is this a trick play machine to offense? I don't know. We got different answers today, but they certainly gave the fans about 2 or 3 or 4,000. They certainly gave them something to talk about because there were some trick plays, the flea flicker, a trick play thrown to a fat guy touchdown. So we had some stuff today that's going to get fans excited for sure.
Yeah, they had the old offensive line throwback play. If you watch the movie Varsity Blues, the play they ran on that one, Prater, I know you haven't seen it, but yeah, it's the offensive line throwback, and it worked, and it was fun. You mentioned the flea flicker. They had a double reverse pass, so there was at least 3 right there. And I mean, we've talked about this all the time on Idaho Sports Talk. This was a program that was synonymous with the trick play for an era, or maybe multiple eras. That's what they did here. This was the trick laboratory. So the fans love that around here. And I know it's not, I think, necessary of wins and losses. They didn't lose 5 games last year because they didn't run enough trick plays. That's silly. But, when they have done that in the past, it's something, football can be a lot of fun, and the trick plays are something that all the fans love. So I loved how Spencer kind of, threw that little sprinkle on top today.
Yeah, other than that, it's kind of flamed it out, but we'll see how it plays out. There's no doubt that this offense has to take another level, and part of that is the creativity. A lot of that is Maddox Metzen. We had a lot of conversations about Maddox Metzen today in the post game. Spencer Danielson comes clean and says Maddox Metzen has had an up and down spring camp, and he needs to be better. He needs more consistency out of his quarterback, and it was weird. Maddox Metzen was sitting in the same room waiting for his turn at the podium, and Spencer said that. But now Spencer's not saying anything to us that he hasn't said to Maddox in private 1,000 times, so there's no surprise there. But the doggy's got about 135 days before Oregon, and he's got a priority list to get better. It's a couple of items. Maybe last year it was 4 or 5 items. So he is making progress. I think there's a lot of support around this offense. We've seen 2 or 3 offensive lines develop this spring. The wide receiver room we just talked about, the running back room is going to be rock solid, and Matt Wagner at tight end is going to be rock solid. So right now, the most to prove on this offense is still the quarterback. I think that they made nice strides this camp, but they still have a lot of work to do, like the rest of this football team.
The position group that I guess outperformed your expectations the most. It's almost like a tie because you have to throw receiver in there. Darren Morris, we'd never seen these guys, and Maddox kept talking about it today too. He really likes this receiver room. He likes the fit. But like you said, the offensive line too. The fact that all these guys have got to play. What was the number that Spencer said? Regarding all the linemen that didn't take a snap this spring?
Oh, yeah, there was at least a half.
11?
I think it was 9 because we know for a fact that 4 starters were out, and I think there were 5 other backups. Yeah, 9 offensive linemen did not take a snap this spring camp. They have 20. That means 11 did. And they developed great depth. And those 4 that are missing were the 4 offensive linemen that started last year. So we asked Spencer about that. Do those 4 offensive linemen, the carry-ons of the world, do they step in on August 1st when camp starts, whatever camp starts, and do they get their spot back? I think there's going to be massive competition, maybe even 3 players deep at certain positions. I don't know if this offensive line is going to be good, but they're going to have the bodies that they need. I think that they developed the way that they've needed to develop, and I think that there's a power. You're not going to want to hear this, especially after a day where we just watched 3 or 4 cool trick plays, but Spencer Danielson's going to say this a lot starting in fall camp. We are a power run, pro football style offense, and we're going to run the ball first. And they got 2 great running backs. Dylan Riley did not play today. He got banged up in spring camp, and he's out. And but that was kind of expected. Sire Gaines looked strong and powerful, and it was kind of fun. But I think this offense is in great shape. I just don't know if it's really good yet.
I want to get to the quarterbacks in a second too, but like you mentioned, the Sire Gaines today playing and Dylan Riley, did not play. Do you think, because Spencer, I think you asked him, it was funny, me and you fought over a question to ask.
We did.
You asked it, but it was the question that I was going to ask too. Same thing.
I like the fact that we think alike, Paul.
It's crazy. And then the question was kind of, how do you weigh the scale of being as physical as you were in spring versus having key players like Dylan Riley, your 1,000-yard back, out? He's a casualty of this process. He was. So where do you even it out? How much are you willing to give? What players are you willing to say, dang it, we're going to take a risk. That dude might get hurt. What are we going to do? But dude, we couldn't tackle last year, and tackle football left this building, and we need to get tougher, and we need to learn how to tackle again. So we're going to tackle more in spring than we ever have. That's what they did. Would you say, Michael Forrest Prater, that they got out of this, they get out of Dodge, healthy enough?
Yes, 100%. I think this experiment worked. Now, that doesn't mean it didn't come with some consequences. 17 players were out of today's game. 17 players. And I'm going to guess that 12 to 15 of those guys are either going to be starters or heavy rotation guys. 17 different players did not play in today's spring camp. 8 of them started spring camp. They were out. The 8 that we talked about in March when we knew that these guys were out. So they've lost, 9 more guys, including Dylan Riley, who I've been told had at least 2 concussions in spring camp. I probably shouldn't even have said that, but he's going to be fine. I think all 17 of these dudes are going to be fine. We did ask Spencer Danielson about fall camp. Ben Ford is still going to be a little bit of a game time decision when it comes to fall camp. And he could be the 5th or 6th wide receiver. He could be the 2nd or 3rd wide receiver. And then there was another casualty today that they weren't quite sure in terms of the injuries. He thinks that this team is going to be close to 100% healthy when they get back in August for fall camp. So, the most physical fall camp or spring camp I've ever seen at Boise State. They got beat up. They got beat up hard, but I don't think there was any long-term injuries. So I think Spencer Danielson got away with it.
I think he did. I think he got away with it. And if this team isn't, I would say, almost borderline terrific at tackling next year, then dang it, that's too bad. But I don't expect that to be the case. Guys, if you're wondering, well, no, this is just a spring thing. He doubled down on it. Spencer Danielson did 30 minutes ago, and he said, we will enter fall camp this way. Made it sound to me like they're going full contact in fall camp as well.
100%. And it's going to be hard to tell. I mean, I don't know if I've ever said, they're a great tackling team. You only bring up tackling when it's bad. I guess it's like an offensive lineman. They're a good offensive lineman if you don't talk about it. If we don't talk about a great tackling team, they're just doing their job. And it does come up. And tackling has been an issue the last couple of years. So I suppose if they're good at tackling this fall, it'll be business as usual. It'll be football. And we'll note that, hey, they're good at tackling. And what they did in the spring certainly worked. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I'm very curious as to how it's going to play out because there was a physical emphasis on that in spring camp. And if it doesn't translate into going from a bad tackling team to a good tackling team in the fall,
exactly,
I don't know what Spencer Danielson could do.
Exactly. That would greatly surprise me if the tackling woes are still there, especially if they get after it in fall camp as well. Let's get
which he said they were going to do. He said we're going live in fall.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I go, Uh-oh.
I thought that too. I was like, okay, cool. I mean, I love it. It takes practice to another level.
Heck yeah.
I want to talk. Maddox Madsen spoke to. I want to get to that press conference eventually, but first, let's get back to the spring game.
Sure.
And let's talk about the quarterback position. I know a lot of people in the comments are asking about it. First and foremost, Maddox Madsen. I guess if you would say what he struggled with last year, meaning completion percentage, he was in that neighborhood today. He was 6 for 11, but he threw 111 yards in 2 teeters on 11 attempts. His quarterback rating, even though the completion percentage wasn't high, was mega today. He was efficient. He struck the ball deep. The 62-yarder was the flea flicker down to Kimonte Williams,
who was wide open.
Wide open. It was a sensational call. Great play. You're right. Maddox Madsen, though, terrific ball in that situation there, Prater, and we will see. But Madsen, I thought, he played well, and he is what he is.
Yeah, the accuracy thing today, I didn't really study it too hard. It was noticeable. Those 6 of 11 was not good. I'd like to kind of break those 11 passes down. And, I was watching the NFL draft last night, and when my Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Drew Aller, which you and I had a chance to, we hang with Drew when we went to the Fiesta Bowl. So I kind of got to feel like I got a connection there. But the one knock on him last night, other than the fact that he couldn't win big games, was his lack of accuracy. And somebody was saying, I don't know if you can ever fix accuracy. And I went straight to the Maddox Madsen thought process. First of all, I went and looked at Drew Aller's college stats. He's about a 65% passer in college, and he got better every year. Maddox Madsen started off at 65%, and he's got worse every year. Last year, I think he was 58%, and his career completion percentage is around 61%. So if Drew Aller sucked at 65%, and Max is right around 58 to 62%, he's got some problems when it comes to accuracy. It didn't get better today. He's going to have to get better. Spencer did say today that he had too many ups and downs. He was very uncomfortable with the too many ups and downs. So, guys, your concerns about Maddox Madsen going into the fall are legit, and they're going into this Oregon game are legit. And Maddox confidence that he could. Can he win the big games and get this team on a national level? I still have very much concerns about that.
Yeah, and can he exceed a fan base's overall expectations that are high, and that a fan base that has seen really good quarterback play in this town for the last 25 years? I mean, they know what good quarterback play looks like.
Yep.
They don't want to be fooled with it. They've seen it. So, Maddox, here you are. You're up again. You got another crack at this thing. You like your receivers. You're married. He kept referencing, hey, we're going to have him over at the house. Like, he feels like Maddox Madsen. It feels like he's in a great space. He said something today that stood out to me, several things, but one being in that, Prater, where he said, I'm going to make sure that I enjoy my last year of football, or my last year here. He said, I'm going to make sure I'm going to enjoy it. That stood out to me because it means there was a lot of times last year where he didn't. It wasn't fun anymore. And when you're the starting quarterback at Boise State, dang, man, if it's not fun, that's a lot of pressure. And it wasn't at times. And I think Madsen, with the noise this year, with the outside haters, he's just going to say, you know what? You've beat me up every which way but loose. I don't even care about you anymore. I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to do the best I can. And we'll see what it is. But I'm rooting for him. I hope he has a terrific year. He's a good kid, but we'll see. This is going to be most likely a running football team, as Spencer mentioned as well. But Maddox Madsen, to you, what stood out? Press conference.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. He did talk a lot about legacy. I guess we asked about it, and he talked about it. The sense of urgency that this is his last year at Boise State. He's very much cognizant of the fact that he wants to go out and be a legacy quarterback at Boise State. And guys, don't laugh at that. You know what? And I started working on this project, and I might bust it out for a BNN column or maybe an Idaho Sports Talk segment, but every quarterback at Boise State's had warts except for one. And even what he threw. Kellen Moore, his wart was 3 interceptions against Idaho State his first year, and that was his one and only wart, maybe.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I'm talking about like Bart Hendricks had warts, Ryan Dinwiddie had warts,
right down the road. Ryan Dinwiddie
yes.
on Broadway, right outside of Burger King there.
Jared Zabransky had warts. They've all had warts. Maddox Madsen could join the second great tier of quarterbacks at Boise State and be successful, win conference championships, which he has, and still come away with warts. So, yeah, I think the legacy talk is real, and don't snicker at it. I'm not going to snicker at it because he does have a legacy to leave here at Boise State, and I think it is very, very important to him. And he's got the tools. He's got a great offensive line, or at least on paper right now. He's got a very powerful running game. He's got a wide receiver room. He's got a security blanket and a tight end, and he's got a coaching staff in Zach Hill and Dirk Cutter and some of these other guys that can really take him to another level. He's got everything he possibly needs. Maddox Madsen needs to come out. He doesn't have to beat Oregon. He just has to come out and play well against Oregon, and then he has to lead this team to a conference championship, which he's shown that he can do. And then I think he does become one of those legacy quarterbacks, just not named Kellen Moore.
This will be a segment we'll do in the summer when we get ready for the Oregon game, like every day. But it's like, what's your realistic expectations for Maddox Madsen in Eugene? You know, and if it's to be the best player on the field and say, I don't care what's going to happen, I will win this game for you, then no. And I'm not saying that is the expectation, but just what would it be?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, this program, you know, they don't just say, oh, we're going to lose that game. They're used to winning these games. So it'll be an interesting summer in that regard. The younger quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We'll start with Max Cutforth. He was 8 for 17. Had some completion percentage issues as well. 83 yards, 1 teeter, no interceptions, and the touchdown pass was a 32-yarder to Terrius Favors on a good play. Cutforth, I think, held off Taylor and Herrera, where when August begins, I think it's probably pretty safe to say he's QB2, but, man, they like this quarterback room.
100%. But, yeah, to Max Cutforth is QB2. And we've spent a lot of time talking about Cash Herrera. Jackson Taylor is kind of an afterthought to me right now. No offense. But Cash Herrera is pushing him a little bit. But Max Cutforth, he's got the consistency going on. I think he's a hell of a lot tougher right now. And Max Cutforth showed some serious toughness last year in terms of his role in backing up Maddox Madsen. So Max Cutforth is 100% your QB2, and I think he will continue to be your QB2 throughout the season. Yeah, again, more accuracy issues today. Can't take that too much stock. He never really stood out to me in spring camp. I don't remember him doing a lot bad. I don't remember him doing a lot of good. He got a lot of reps, but all 4 of the quarterbacks got a lot of reps. So I think Max Cutforth, he just kind of par for the course, did what he was supposed to do, and he's definitely still QB2 in my book.
Yeah, Prater in the ball game here. Jacksons Postgame Edition on BNN of the Boise State Spring Game. Cash Herrera was interesting today because, like, they put him in and they were running the football like every single play.
Like at least the first 6 to 8 plays were all handoffs for him.
Okay, and we just kept waiting. Finally, they call a pass play. And he hits, and it's 3rd and long, and he hits wide receiver A.J. Mays on a kind of a post. I wouldn't say a quick slant, but a post. Probably 7 to 11 yards, and then he slants across, and it was right on the money. And he drilled it, Cash Herrera, right to A.J. Mays. First down. Wait, no, there was a penalty on the play. They said that
No, they ruled a sack.
They said that Cash Herrera got sacked because the defensive player, you can't touch the quarterback. If you get in like a circle within the quarterback, it's a sack. But that play,
and the only person calling sacks
that was his only pass.
Yes.
that play still happened. The whole stadium saw it, and you're like, okay, that's legit. That was a 3rd and long, back to pass on a slant right there. Nailed A.J. Mays. First down on a 3rd and long, but he was sacked. Because you're right. If you look at the box score, Cash Herrera has one thing.
One sack, baby. One sack.
But that throw, I mean,
nice.
People, I mean, I think it's legit to be really excited about this kid.
I do too. I just don't think we're going to see him on the field at all in the entire 2026 season. I really don't.
I mean, garbage time here or there.
I think that's max. I mean, it's going to have to be some serious garbage time, and I'm not sure how much garbage time this team is going to have. But yeah, no, we're going to get a beautiful quarterback battle starting next January with Cash and Jackson and Max and even this new Cale Snyder kid that's going to join the team in January. Cash did nothing to ruin his hype. Cash did nothing to knock down his reputation. He came in with an NFL reputation because that's what Spencer Danielson said, and he showed us everything that he possibly can. But I like the fact that he has to wait. I like the fact that some of my NFL quarterbacks, I don't know if Drew Aller is good for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I like the fact that he's going to sit for a year or two. I like the old-fashioned quarterback way of putting a quarterback on your football team and making him wait for a year or two to get out there and get better. I feel the same way like about a Ty Simpson. Why not draft him and let him sit for a year or two the old-fashioned way? We're forcing 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids to play quarterback now when they're not ready, and quarterback play in football at every level has really, really dropped for me. So I like the fact that he's sitting. I have no expectations to him to be on the field, but I do have expectations for him to win a starting quarterback job next year. I cannot wait to see how that plays out.
Do you expect to see, or do you like the fact that Taylon Green with the Cleveland Browns is sitting behind Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson? Is that good for him too?
Yeah, let's throw him on the list. Let's throw that on. Now that's a whole nother level of weirdness there in terms of not only the Browns, but Taylon Green and his athleticism. And that's kind of funny. And we're going to talk about Cage Casey here in a little bit. Nicely done for him, Bronco to Bronco. But yeah, I agree with that. And I like my quarterbacks to sit for a couple of years. I got no problem with that.
Especially in college. Okay, what about this? In your opinion, we're checking on this stat, but Coach Cutter, I'll give him credit on this. He came up to me on a practice and said that he saw like 5 quarterbacks in America are seniors, starters, and they've been at the same school their entire career. 5 out of 136 FBS programs.
We might be up to 138 now.
Okay, 138. Yeah, 5 programs. This is one of them, 100%. And there were a couple others that he mentioned. So in your opinion, what type of tutelage is Cash Herrera going to get this year? Learning the way of quarterback life at BSU from Maddox Madsen.
Yeah, that's a great question. And he is going to get coached up. And that was one of the bigger stories that we talked about a lot in the spring in terms of the reps, that all 4 of these quarterbacks got massive, massive reps this spring because they split everybody up in 2, and half the team was on 150 and the other team was on the other 50, and everybody was getting reps. I've never seen a spring camp where 4 quarterbacks got massive amounts of reps, and I think it's going to pay off. 100% it's going to pay off. And I can be patient. I can wait for Cash Herrera to do his thing. I just want him to do it starting in January and be as good. By the way, real quick on A.J. Mays, here's a funny story on A.J. Mays, who came here as a quarterback. Remember, he was a quarterback his first year here.
I want to know if he's on scholarship, and no one's been able to answer that question to me for like 2 years. But yes, well, I love A.J. Mays.
Yeah, there's no such thing as scholarships and walk-ons anymore.
Okay, but was he when he came?
I'm not sure if he was, but here's my funny story about that dude. And when he caught that pass today, I got the biggest grin on my face. And I'll take you back to last year about this time. It was about a week after spring camp, and I was going to play in the Khalil Shakir golf tournament, and I wanted to buy a player and have him be my partner. And I never could talk about this publicly. And I bought A.J. Mays to be my player. Gave him some cash it was an NIL deal, and you're going to come out here. And I bought his round of golf for the Khalil Shakir tournament. And he was going to come out and play golf with us. 24 hours before the tournament, on that Friday morning, I get a call from Lou Major at the BSU thing, and A.J. Mays
came down. That can't be good.
A.J. Mays comes down with mono. Mononucleosis.
I had it.
And so the whole theory, 20 hours before the Khalil Shakir golf tournament, and I actually sent Khalil Shakir a quick test. I said, dude, because my plan was to bring a wide receiver to Khalil Shakir's tournament every single year.
And apparently he's a terrific golfer.
Yeah, and he was a terrific golfer, and he was going to be like the young protege, and Khalil Shakir was going to be all excited about that. I said, dude, my wide receiver backed out. He got mono. Can you help me out? He hooked me up with Billy Bowens, and we ended up playing with Billy Bowens, and it was a blast. But when I saw A.J. Mays, because I hadn't thought about that name for a year, and when I saw him catch a pass today, I go, it's about damn time. You produced on this football team.
He's a tough kid.
He is a tough kid.
I'll give him a lot of credit.
Yes.
Like, something happened with an injury in spring for A.J. Mays, and he's been wearing, you saw him today, he wears a brace that starts at his upper thigh and goes all the way down to his ankle. And hasn't missed a snap. Just tough as hell. Like, he knows he has to be out there.
Yep. Agreed.
And he's out there in the best ability. is availability, and A.J. Mays is doing everything he can to make himself available, and I loved it too, seeing him catch that pass.
And it was a beautiful pass.
Cash Herrera. It didn't count because apparently Cash got sacked, but he drilled it, and it was impressive. It won't show up in the stat book, but I was impressed.
Yeah, I was too. But my favorite thing about the quarterbacks was Jackson Taylor. And Jackson Taylor comes in as kind of the QB4 in this particular case. So he comes in the fourth quarter, and he throws a pick six to Ty Tanner.
Yes.
And that was the only score of the entire second half, by the way. Ty Tanner's
40-yard interception return.
40-yard interception return. 3 of the next 2 plays and 3 of the next 4 plays were all called pass plays. So they took this young kid who just threw a bad interception, and I realized that you can do this kind of stuff in spring ball, but they didn't hesitate. Next play, pass. Next play, pass. Next play, run. And then the next play after that, pass. And he was actually pretty efficient. Was able to move the ball down the field a little bit. There was a nice safe pass to Brecky, one of the wide receivers, one of the tight ends. I thought he did a really nice job, and I thought the coaches did a nice job of coaching him up. And they just don't do that for him. They do that for all these guys, the Cash Herreras, even the Maddox Madsons. And right there was a great opportunity for him to be able to get that done. I thought it was pretty cool.
All right, we're going to take a quick one. It's Prater in the ball game, Jacksons Postgame Show, and we're going to be back. We got plenty more to get to. BNN Live, appreciate you guys. We'll catch you in a second.
Eat Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Boise State football wide receiver Ben Ford. I've had to face some setbacks on the field this past season, but toughness isn't about staying down. It's about getting back up. I am proud to represent Lithia Ford of Boise, where you can find the largest selection of Ford trucks that are built tough and, like me, handle the hits and keep pushing forward. Come check out the incredible inventory and competitive pricing at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're not just getting a truck, you're supporting Boise State athletics and Lithia Ford NIL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Prater on the ball game. Jacksons post-game show again here live. You probably could tell we're at the James. The sun is shining. The weather's like almost perfect in Idaho.
I hate it when I overdress. Come on, you showed up in a T-shirt. I feel like I'm dressed for winter. It's gorgeous out here today.
Dude, you're in a Marty McFly vest.
Yes.
Seriously.
I thought it was going to be cold. It's gorgeous out here today.
And you got sweatpants. Yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah. You look great.
You're bundled up.
I am bundled up. You look great. I misjudged Mother Nature today.
Beautiful out here. So appreciate you guys. Hopefully you can hear us. And everything's going strong again, a BNN production. So bear with us around here. BJ Rains doing a fabulous job. And where's BJ? He's in Las Vegas.
I believe so. What concerns do we have today? I mean,
I'll tell you my concerns. Yeah,
I think it's been a really good offseason. We talked about this on Idaho Sports Talk the other day. I think Spencer Danielson's won the offseason. I think he won spring camp. I think he won the spring game today, but it hasn't all been perfect.
My worries with this team, you want to know them?
100%.
I'm worried about the overall size. I think this team is small. Like I've seen teams here, like they've had bigger players. Now, you can tell me, and they have, well, we're different philosophy. We want to be faster. Boise State, we can't be the ones that are big and fast. That's the SEC and the Big Ten, so you kind of got to pick your poison. Do you want the fast guy or do you want the big guy? Do you want to get the fast guy and try to make him big? Do you want to get the big guy and try to get him fast? You got to figure out all this stuff, but I'm worried just about the overall size. I honestly look at this team in practice, and then I think about what I'm going to see on the sidelines in Eugene during warm-ups, and I've been there. I've been on those sidelines, and I've seen the Ducks warm up, and they're monsters, and I don't see that here. That's a concern. I just think it's a smaller team. Other than that, what would my concern be with this football team? Oh, I don't know that maybe just man for man, not as talented as past teams we've seen, but I don't want to say that yet because I want to give this team a fall camp and a chance. I like this team's mindset better than last year. I like the tone. I like the demeanor. I like the maturity of this team better than last year.
I think this team's getting along better, and I think there was maybe a little bit. I'm not going men's basketball on you, but I think there was a little bit of chemistry issues with this football team last year, but they were able to overcome them. This year, right now, I think this team really, truly is on the same page. In terms of my concerns, and I'm with you on the size. I mean, obviously, it starts at quarterback. The offensive line could be just a little bit bigger. There's not a lot of great size on the wide receiver room. If Williams
tackle,
if Williams can become a decent guy at wide receiver, that gives you some size. D tackle Max Steege. I saw Max Steege today. He was wearing shorts and a T-shirt, and I thought he was a student manager. He's so small and so slight. I think he's a smart football player, and he's going to be valuable on the opposite end of the edge with JVM. But I think Rob Kaywood may have stole a starting spot in spring camp, so we'll see how that plays out. So there is some size issues there. I think the secondary is going to be mostly fine. I got two main concerns for me. My main concern is the linebackers. And I've asked Spencer Danielson about him, and he still swears that, the Bone Phelps, that's the way college football is of today. I'm not worried about the big physical hits. I'm worried about a guy that can go right and left, east and west, sideline to sideline. And Bone Phelps is definitely that guy. Bone Phelps is going to be fine at linebacker, but if he's your best linebacker, that scares me. Rip is inconsistent, so right now he's a half a linebacker, and I really don't think that they develop much. I didn't hear much about the Kansas kid. Brackett they've talked about a little bit. I think those are just guys and they're placeholders right now. I really worry about the physicality and the depth of the linebacker room. And here's one thing we don't talk an awful lot about is the kicker. I think Boise State's going to lose a game because of kicking this year because I don't think he's very accurate. He's got a boomer of a leg, no pun intended. He's got a massive leg, and we saw it a lot in spring camp. And now that the spring camp's over, maybe I feel like I can say a few more things than we were allowed to say, but He concerns me a lot in spring camp with his accuracy. He's gonna launch a football deep into the stands every single time, no matter where he is on the field. But can he get it through the two goalposts? I worry about the consistency of Boise State's kicker. I worry about the physicality of their linebacker, and I'll always be concerned. And I feel bad because he looks me in the face and he smiles and he's a beautiful kid. But I'll always be concerned about Maddox Madsen.
Yep. Concerns for this team in 2026. I mean, what are your rock solid you know what? They're going to be good at this. I'll be shocked if they aren't.
Running the ball. I really do. And I think the playmakers on the back half, and maybe this is selfish because we all want 5 playmakers in the secondary. And I think the secondary is really, really good. Might be the strength of this team. And I think that's where the coaches and the players have developed the most and have shined the most. And I think you agree with me, Ballgame. I think the secondary's done a fantastic job, and there's some really fun players back there. You get Sherrod Smith back as a potential starting cornerback. They may have 2 or 3 starting cornerbacks. I think they've got a couple of different safeties. I'm very curious as to how Anderson's going to work off with the free safety. I loved what you said on Idaho Sports Talk earlier this week. We went from Jail Skinner to Tubner, and that mostly worked, although I was never a huge fan of Tubner. And now we're going from Ty Benefield to Travis Anderson, and it's kind of the same optics, if you know what I mean. Travis Anderson's got a lot of play and a lot of love in spring camp, and I think he's going to roam around and make a lot of different plays. I just don't know how physical and how much he can get back there and play, and I'm not sure how much he's going to get beat or how consistent he's going to be, but I think the secondary is going to be really fun to watch. Playmakers, big-time playmakers.
Like, I didn't even factor Sherrod Smith in, and he was a guy I penciled in as a starter at corner before camp began.
100%.
He didn't play this camp. He was out like several players are, but now it's like, I think, I like their secondary, and Sherrod Smith's like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And he's going to be back into the mix.
100%. Bud.
Spencer Danielson said, what did he say about the secondary today at his post-game presser? He said, well, whoever it's going to be, I don't know who the 5 are going to be, but I'll tell you this, whoever it is, it's going to be 5 who won a very, very difficult competition to get that spot. So I'd be confident about the secondary as well, Prater. I think that's a good place to start there. And I don't know about collectively, but Matt Wagner had a really good spring. Wags, that dude, Boise State has a beast at tight end again. He looks like John Bates, and he's shown in spring that he can catch the rock too. I think Matt Wagner might be the next, all-conference tight end that Boise State has had. Feel like he could take that jump. I think they're going to be really strong there as well.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, and it's probably not a bold one. Probably the right adjective is stupid. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'll go ahead and predict it right now. I think Matt Wagner leads this team in catches.
Yep.
Because I still believe that Rashawn Jones is going to lead the team in highlights, but he's not going to lead the team in catches. And maybe he will.
Maybe touchdowns.
Maybe touchdowns.
Receiving touchdowns.
Maybe highlights. Maybe yards per catch. All that kind of fun stuff. But if Matt Wagner, because I never really believed that Matt Lauder was an NFL tight end. I think he was close.
You were always on that. You're right.
I just didn't see that extra oomph. I do see it from Matt Wagner. I think he's a little bit bigger. I think he's a little bit more athletic. I think he's a little bit more faster. I think he's a little bit more creative with his hands. I think he can go out there and really be an efficient, smart tool for Maddox Madsen, who, again, guys, Maddox Madsen's biggest issue is accuracy. And if you can dump off of an 8 to 10 yarder to a tight end and use that as your security blanket, and Matt Wagner, I think, is going to be one of the most dependable players on this offense. I love Matt Wagner. I'll be very, very disappointed if they don't use him a lot. Ball game.
And the backfield, Sire Gaines ran the ball hard today. I mean, I think if that's the Sire you're going to get, okay, great. I mean, if it's a thunder and lightning situation, I mean, Dylan Riley had the splash plays last year, several of them. Like, he was up there nationally. Dylan Riley was for runs over 50-plus yards. Sire has kind of yet to break that long one outside of the first game he ever played against, was it Georgia Southern?
I think it was Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern, yeah, not Georgia State. Yeah, the first Sire game, but he ran the ball hard today, very physically, and we didn't see Dylan today. But Sire, I thought, I mean, what should Bronco Nation know or think about this backfield going into the summer?
You got 2 running back, you got 2 RB1s, you got 2 RB2s, and they're the same 2 guys, and they're mixing and matching, and I think it's going to be spectacular, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know you and I were, or at least I think I was, and maybe you were too, a little bit uncomfortable because who was going to be RB1 last year? We didn't see Dylan Riley coming up the way he did. And I think Dylan Riley's the better running back. I really, truly do. But Sire Gaines, you're right, man. I love the way he runs. He's a physical beast. He scares me to death. And, I would never want to get run over by that guy. And, he's a great weapon to have. And, I think it's going to be really fun to watch those 2 guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sire Gaines was RB1 this year in terms of production and yards.
I don't know how they're going to – I would expect when the first depth chart comes out, they have the or, okay? I mean, I think that's the card Spencer will play. I think that's how Spencer's going to present this to the media, 1A and 1B, 1 or 1A, however Spencer's going to, put it. And I think that's fine. I think it's going to be, Dylan Riley, 54%, Sire Gaines, 46%. But Harry Stewart is another one I wanted to bring in, looks the part. He's the Kansas transfer. Yep. He has Genty upper body look. Like he is a big kid. I saw him out there the other day in practice, and he had his shirt tucked in. And for a second, I thought it was Ashton. He was, just up here. But yeah, dude, like he might factor in a little bit. A true freshman got some carries today. So
yeah, Chavis and Stewart I think are fine. I think Jules Goff is, and he's the kid out of Pitt. I think. Yeah,
the Pitt.
He's I think he's going to be the odd man out. I think Gaines and Riley are going to get 90% of all the carries, and Chavis and Stewart are going to get a little bit here and there. I like what they both did. Here's the weird part, and tell me if I'm wrong, ball game. The most targets a wide receiver got today was Terrius Favors. He came in. He's one of only 2 4-stars, I think, on this team. He's a 4-star kid, true freshman. Terrius Favors. He's the kid out of Georgia, if I remember right. So much hype before spring ball started, and I barely even remember seeing him a lot. We never talked about him in spring camp. Never. He was quiet as could possibly be. Today, 6 targets. He led this entire team in passing targets. That caught me off guard. Reminds me that he's a 4-star. I'll be thinking about him more so this summer than I did during spring camp because he was nowhere to be found, but he certainly was very, very busy today.
I mean, these like sophomore and down receivers look pretty talented, man.
Right. Spectacular.
Think about you bring Favors and Rashawn Jones, same class, if that works out, man, wow, what an effort that was. You're right. And Rashawn Jones was a 3-star, but I've heard people say if that kid would have played high school football in LA, he wouldn't be here. So
100%,
great stuff there. But you got 2 kids coming in that can make guys miss. I think that Quentin Brown can make guys miss. You said it about Dylan Riley, very explosive back, Sire, powerful back. We'll see how the line is, but I don't think they're certainly at a Pac-12 level. They're not going to be on a shortage for skilled position players in the league. I kind of like now after I've seen spring, I certainly like it more, Prater, than I did before spring camp where it was like Major League. I'm like, who the hell are these guys?
I love it. One vibe I'm getting from this team, I think this team is really smart. And I think this team is going to be void of a lot of mistakes. And even like the penalties. Remember last year, the penalties, guys, it was what they led the nation in penalties or whatever it was. Ridiculous amount of penalties. Think about today. And I noticed this throughout spring camp. Today, no fumbles, 1 interception, 1 penalty. I think this team is going to be clean. I think they're going to play clean football games. And sometimes that does start with discipline. Sometimes that does start with being just a smarter football team. And I got so frustrated last year, as we all did, with 5-yard false start penalties that put them behind the chains for no reason at all. Just dumb, not focusing. Just like Prater on a golf course missing a 2-foot putt because you were looking at butterflies in right field. That stuff drives me crazy. This team, to me, seems like it's mentally tougher, mentally smarter, and that's going to translate for me into like fumbles and interceptions and penalties and playing clean football. I think it was a clean camp. I don't remember turnovers ever being an issue. And today, outside of that 1 interception, I thought it was a very clean game, ball game.
This team is who it is, but who is it? Right? There's deep for you.
We just talked a lot about a lot of different elements. Now let's put them all together and give it a name. What is it?
I don't know. It is who it is, and I don't know what it's going to be. They're going to be okay. I think they're going to be mentally tough. I think they're going to try their ass off. I think they're going to be together. I don't think they're going to be individual where anybody is going to throw anybody under the bus around here. I think this team realizes who they are and who they aren't. I do. I get a sense that this team has does not have an identity crisis, that knows who it is. I think what you were saying last year, I think this team realizes how dumb those mistakes were.
Yep.
And that dadgummit, we're not doing that this year, okay? We're not. We're not talking crap after, even when we don't make the play. We're going to have some type of move. We're not, like I've said, there's been more business. I think this team is aware of the distractions that got in the way last year.
100% agree.
I think this team gets it, and they're saying, hey, that was last year's team. This is this year's team, and we're not going to do that. And you know what? We're not good enough to get away with that. We can't be that team.
Fair.
We can't be the dumb team because we have better athletes than everybody we play, which has been the case here. Not the case with this team. So you can't. You got to go back to being the smart guy. And I think this team, whether they're smart or not, they won't be dumb. They won't make dumb plays. They'll be disciplined, and they're going to be together. I don't know if last year's team, like you said, was together. And this team, if they're good, that'd be terrific. I hope they are for this fan base, because I think this fan base can fall in love with this team for being kind of back at its blue-collar roots a little bit. The star of the team is 17 years old. The hell are we doing? Like, this team doesn't really. I don't know. This team is who this team is, and I hope that this fan base accepts them.
I think we're going to be able to start figuring out the answer to that, because this team is Pac-12 good. This team is not Oregon good.
Okay.
So for me, the tiebreaker is, are they Memphis good? And if they come back in that home opener with the brand new north end zone and play really, really well and give the fans a show and turn that day into a day of magic because of everything that's going to represent inside that stadium, then I'm going to have a lot of confidence. And I think that this team has a fighting chance to do that. So to me, it's all going to start with the Memphis game in terms of if they struggle in that game or if they lose in that game, we've got problems. We've got major, major problems. So we're going to speculate a lot over the summer. We're going to speculate a lot in fall camp. I can almost feel, and I feel like I have a pretty good realistic feeling about my opinions. I don't have a good one about Oregon. I think the Oregon game is going to get ugly because they're so good, and the gap between Group of Five and good P4 anymore, just on paper, I don't care who you are, it is what it is. But everything's going to start with this Memphis game. And I think, remember that question, ball game. Who is this team? What are they all about? What is this team? I think we're going to start getting answers for the first time in the Memphis game.
Is this team Memphis good? Yep. I mean, that's a great question. Because if this team, if they mess Memphis up, 41-6 in the new Palace in the north end zone, and okay, I get it. We got murder-faced by Oregon. Fine, have fun, Oregon. It must be nice having Uncle Phil. We have to do things differently around here. But if they could beat Memphis at that point, Prater, it's okay. You want to get back to the tournament, you win out. And they get the schedule at that point, you're thinking that's possible. If they murder face Memphis, then you're thinking, okay, it's the same blueprint, no pun intended, that they had in the Genty season. But that team could have beat Oregon if this team doesn't. But still, if that's the only blemish and you got that Memphis win, then all of a sudden you might be able to see, hey, that Pac-12, we can be the team that gets there. And they can think of it like that. But if that's not the case, in Memphis, comes in there and is the better program, and the coach out-coaches Spencer, and they're just better.
Ouch.
And Boise State loses badly to Oregon, and then they follow it up with the homes. Like fans aren't even there halfway through the fourth quarter. That's going to be a nightmare situation. I'd be afraid that a lot of the fans, they're going to say right then and there, I am done with whatever this era is. I don't care about fixing it at this point. And we'll hear the name Cash Herrera a lot. If this team's 0-2, it's going to be, you know how the game goes, Prater,
100%,
in this town.
Totally agree with that.
That Memphis game is it's enormous on this schedule. And Prater, we got 177 whatever days?
I don't know if it's that many. I was counting in my head. I think we're about 135-ish.
Okay.
Something
what
like
is
that.
For you, what's the storyline going into fall camp?
It's always going to be Maddox Madsen on this team, but we're not going to come up with answers. That'll be my question, but we're not going to come up with answers. It's going to take time to develop the wide receiver room. Are they going to get Ben Ford back? Is Bates going to be healthy? I think those two dudes, they're not difference makers in that wide receiver room, but they're important pieces in that wide receiver room, and I'm going to definitely be looking at that. there's not going to be a lot of other changes right now. I mean, they're going to report early this year for summer conditioning, May 25th. Madsen told us today. So, toward the end of May, they've always reported the first week of June. So they're going to get a week head start there. Fall camp will be all in August. I think this team is in really, 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 really good shape right now. Off the field, I think that they got the north end zone. I think Jeremiah Dickey is cranking. Will Jeremiah Dickey still be the athletic director on September 5th? We have to talk about that this summer. That's certainly part of the deal. I think he is, but I think the Kentucky thing is real. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun summer, but I'm not sure we're gonna get a lot of answers. Ball game.
All right. Takeaway for me, I guess bigger picture. I want to see. I want to see if Boise State's still going to be the badass in the group of six. Kind of a storyline for me. Where is this program when you zoom out of it a little bit? Even, okay, you're not with the powers. Okay, but can you be the best of the next level and then still maybe stay afloat in this landscape by being that?
Yep.
And at least if you're that, you'll get a shot at a opportunity to win the magical game that got this program going 20 years ago, this will be the 20th season of that game. We need to do a lot.
Wow.
We're going to do a lot this year on Idaho Sports Talk on the 2006 season 20th anniversary. We should do a segment every week on it.
Yeah, it's also
special team.
It's also the 40th year of the Blue Turf, and
right.
40th year of the Blue Turf and the 20th year of the Fiesta Bowl. It's going to be a magical season. Hopefully, Boise State. Of course, they are. They're going to be able to recognize and celebrate all of that. That's going to be really, really fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a fun summer. I cannot wait to see how it all plays out. And it was a good spring camp. It's been a good offseason for this Boise State football team. And I cannot wait to see, can't wait to get back on a football field again.
All right. Shout out to Sun Cruiser, the Sun Cruiser Outdoor Studios, where we are at the James in Lithia, Florida, Boise. It's Explorer Month in April at Lithia, Florida, Boise. We love them as well. And, of course, Jacksons. Appreciate you always putting your name on the Jacksons Postgame Show. For Cannon, I believe, our producer today, BJ, and everybody else on BNN. Before we get out of here, Michael Forrest Prater, one more thing to say.
Yeah, one big shout-out to Cage Casey. Congratulations on a big day. Cage Casey goes in the 4th round early. He was like the 7th, 8th player taken, 111th overall. Goes to the Denver Broncos. A great offensive line situation over there. I think that's really cool. Spencer Danielson mentioned this morning that the linebacker coach over there is Jeff Schmedding, the old Boise State defensive coordinator, a good friend of both of ours. And, he's a good dude. So there's a little Boise love that's over there. Jael Skinner's over there. He's going to try to take Cage is going to try to take my boy Garrett Bowles' place, my Utah bud, who's one of the better offensive linemen in the National Football League, if not the best one. But he's getting old. That offensive line's getting old. Coach Payton picked up a Boise State offensive lineman. Shout out and congratulations to KG and his family today.
I know he wanted to go day 2, however, early day 3, and what a terrific location. Kirsten, the wife, her family is from Montana. Montana people are either Bronco or Seahawk fans. 100%. That's about as close. That's the closest football team to his in-laws. He's a little over an hour flight back here to Boise. Cage himself is from Portland, so his parents have to be absolutely thrilled that he stays in the region.
Yes.
And he'll play AFC West teams, so they get to fly to L.A. and they get to fly to Kansas City, I guess, in that division, in Vegas, and that checks. It just checks. Him going to Denver checks. I mean, he can easily fly back here on a bye week, hang out on the blue. Like, it's a great spot.
He did the draft in Park City. Just get on Interstate 80 and just keep going to Denver.
Yeah.
He's halfway there already.
Seriously.
Come on, shout out to cool. And we didn't beat him up personally over the last month, but it was really hard to see him slide from the first round to the second round to the third round to the fourth round. But what a classy dude, what a bright future, and we all fall in love with Cage Casey. So a big day for him and Boise State football. The draft pick, the history, the left tackle spot, all that stuff continues at Boise State.
All right, guys, appreciate you. This will conclude our Jacksons post-game show. Obviously, keep it to BNN for all the content, and we'll see you on Idaho Sports Talk Monday, KTIK, from 3 to 6 p.m. For Prater, I'm Johnny Ballgame. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.